Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we have an insane new leak wave. We thought the leaks were done, or it slowed down a fair bit, but overnight there has been a huge amount of more cards for Modern Horizons 3 leaked out to the public. Now, before we get into it, I cover all this kind of stuff. I cover Commander, I cover, all the new secret layers and all that kind of stuff. I just cover a whole bunch of Commander / Magic news. So if you guys are interested, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. If I could hit 3,000 by the end of May, that would be insane. But, if we can even hit 2,000, I would be so happy. I would love to be able to make, my Magic the Gathering channel my main channel. So make sure that, you guys subscribe and hit like, share the video around and everything like that. So the first one here we've got is the Emperor of Bones. This is a new black card at the beginning of combat. On your turn, you can exile up to one target card from a graveyard. I believe that's what it says. And then it's got adapt to here whenever one or more +1/+1s put onto this. Put a creature exiled with Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So you can essentially steal people's cards with this, it looks like, from their graveyard, as well as the fact that you've got it's from anyone's graveyard as well. Very, very interesting card. I like that one a lot. We've got Emissary of Soulfire here. So this is in the base set. I wasn't sure if this was going to be base set or specifically going to be the JESKAI set. So it may be in the JESKAI deck, we don't know. When it enters, you get 3 energy counters. Then you can pay 2 to put an exalted counter on target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each instant. Okay, so it just gives exalted to things by paying energy. So you could do some really big stuff with this, like, some big Voltron style things, while you can, go and chuck the exalted counters out onto your stuff, as well as the fact that this is just pay, like it doesn't need to tap or anything. So if you've got a whole bunch of energy spare, that you could potentially, spread this around and then exalt something to heaven. We've got Kaith, Famed Mechanist. So this looks like it's going to be the alt commander for the JESKAI deck. So it's got Fabricate 1, and then other non-token creatures you control have Fabricate 1 as well. You've got 2 and then tap to choose one. You can either populate or proliferate. Technically, you can get an energy from this, I believe, because you can increase your own counters, so energy counters. But this is a very interesting card. So if you don't know what Fabricate does, I'm just going to double check just to make sure that I got it right. It's the one that is whenever a card comes into play, you can either put a +1/+1 counter on it or create a number of servo artifact creatures. So you can either have things come in with a +1/+1 or have them come in and create a servo there. So with a deck that can potentially go wide like this JESKAI deck, it could be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Also, the fact that it's got populate here, keep in mind that the face commander from the JESKAI deck seems to be making tokens based on when he attacks and stuff. So you could populate those as well. We've got Warren Soul Trader here. So you can pay 1 life, sacrifice a creature, create a treasure token. There are so many decks that this is going to be bonkers in. I'm really happy with this card. This looks like a really, really awesome card. Looks to also be in the base set there. You can tell because the icon here is the base set icon there. I'm thinking that this could potentially go into my Vihan deck, for example, to sack the treasure tokens to create other treasure tokens when people attack, or when someone does a board wipe or something on after my Vihan's attacked and stuff. There's lots of very interesting ways you could potentially use this card for some insane decks. The pay 1 life feels like it should be a punishment, but realistically with stuff like Blood Artists and stuff, you're technically going to be, going net neutral with that, because you're going to be gaining 1 life and then losing 1 life. So lots of really interesting ways you could potentially use this card. We've got Obstruse Appropriation. So I think this is 2 a white and a blue. I can't tell if it's 2 a white and a blue or just 2 and a white. Either way, devoid, exile target non-land permanent, and then you can cast it for as long as it remains exiled, and you can pay colorless mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. So it's a removal spell that then allows you to steal that card, essentially. Very, very interesting stuff. If we have a look, actually, I can potentially compare here. Yeah, that's got to have another token here, so it must be blue as well. Ripples of Undeath. My friend wants to chuck this into his Necron deck. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you can mill 3 cards. You don't get to choose there, but then you can pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, you can put a card from those cards into your hand. Something like the Master Transcendent could make some insane use for this too. We've got Power Balance. This is probably the most broken card. This is an insane card, right? This is an absolutely insane card. So whenever an opponent casts a spell, for Commander I'm talking about, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you can reveal the top card of your library. If you do, if it is the same mana cost, so if they're casting something that is 2 mana cost and you reveal something that is, 2 CMC, then all of a sudden you're going to get to play that for free. Crazy stuff you can do there. We've got Ashling Flame Dancer here. This one here is the new version of Ashling. I didn't expect a new version of Ashling. It's to do with mage crafting and stuff. So whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, you can discard a card, then draw a card. Or if it's the second time, you get to deal 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. And then if it's the third time, you get to add 4 red. On a deck that is going to be like, like something like the new Stellar Lee deck, this is going to be crazy, especially the you don't lose unspent red mana. There are crazy amounts of ways for you to be able to get red mana, like Neheb or something like that. You could do some really crazy stuff with this. Again, this is the base set too. We've got Detective Phoenix. This one's very interesting as well because it's making use of the evidence. Evidence, has just been around since not Modern Horizons, since Markov Manor, and then from here it's already being used in another card, obviously. So you can bestow this, paying red and collecting evidence. It's got flying and haste. It gives the enchanter creature +2/+2 and flying and haste, and then you can cast it from your graveyard using a bestow. So if you cast this and then it dies, then you can bestow it upon something as well. Very, very interesting card. All right, we've got a reprint for Cursed Mirror here. Next is the White Orchard Phantom. This is really interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm considering running this in my deck, my land, Yuma deck, to just destroy my deserts more often. So it's got flying at first strike. When it enters the battlefield, you get to destroy, it's like Path of Exile, except for land, not Path of Exile. No, it's kind of similar to Path of Exile, I guess. You get to destroy a target non-basic land, and then whoever you destroyed, they get to search for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Very, very cool card. We've got an Estrid's Invocation reprint. We've got a Junk Diver reprint. Roshin Roaring Prophet. So this is a giant shaman. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 6 cards. You may put a card with X in its mana cost from among them into your hand. You can then tap to reveal any number of cards with X in their mana cost in your hand. You get to add 2 colorless for each card revealed this way. Spend it only to cast costs that contain X. This is a crazy card too, in my opinion. Like, I think there's so many different decks this could make use of. The one I'm thinking of off the top is the Magus from the Tyrannid deck, or even the Tyrannid deck overall could make so much use of this. There's so many different Hydra decks that could potentially make use of this. If you've got a deck that's got a whole bunch of X cost cards in it, you reveal, say for example, you reveal 3 cards, right? You're getting a 6 colorless mana from that, just for the price of tapping this. And then from there, you can then, cast whatever it is. It's bonkers. We've got Amphibian Downpour. So this is going to turn something into a frog. It's an aura that turns something into a frog, but it's got Storm. So you get to copy it for each spell cast earlier. So you could potentially just turn everyone's stuff into frogs. As funny as that is, just turn everything into frogs. It's also got Flash as well, which is really interesting. So you could technically flash this on someone else's turn too, because it's just for each spell cast, not even your own spells. We've got Wrath of Skies. So this is going to give you X energy counters. Then you may pay any amount of energy, destroy each artifact, creature, enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid. So you could get an insane amount of energy counters with this, and then pay, say, for example, 3, and then you can destroy everything with 3 or less CMC. Really cool stuff. Victimize reprint. We've got the Perilous Landscape. So this is tap, add colorless, or you can tap, sack it to search for a basic island, mountain, or plains. Interesting that this is a basic island, mountain, or plains. So, you know, it kind of helps with a mana fixing, but only if you're trying to search out those. But you've also got the option of cycling it for JESKAI to draw a card or to discard a card and then draw a card. And then finally, we've got a reprint here for Nesting Grounds, being able to move your counters around. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you think. What are your favorites of the new cards? What are the favorites of the, you know, reprints? If you're interested in any of the reprints here, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Have a great day and goodbye.